Take us through the last few days for you. It's been a bit of a party, I imagine. What's that like after you win the Grey Cup?
Honestly, I hate to say this, I haven't partied once. I think I've had one beer, one happy dad, and one drink in the past 5 days. So, it's a sweet time, but you don't want to feel like crap the next day for treatment. So, I'm just trying to get back as soon as possible. We'll party, next year when we win it again, right?
I love that. Well, first off, congratulations, and most importantly, how are you feeling? I can't believe it's only been what, like 11 days since the injury went down.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sore, obviously. But my lady is taking very, very good care of me. I got obviously the best trainers here, right behind me working on me. So I think it's just a cumulative thing of, just trying to find that balance of feeling good. And, it's the tough part is, it's the right foot, so you can't drive, you can't it's a pain just to even go to the bathroom. You can't really shower even, So I think all the necessities that have the luxury of being able to do, cook, clean, make your bed and do all those, I can't do.
Hmm. Well, take us through the range of emotion you've had in the last few weeks. You're in the playoffs. You've got a team that can do it. You know what it takes to win the Grey Cup. You're right in the mix. You break your leg, obviously devastating, but eventually the team, comes through and pulls the cord for you and gets the job done. And you have the elation of knowing your team won the Grey Cup. It's got to be a roller coaster for you recently.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, to even clinching, a home field game for the playoffs, and then sitting out that next game, and then having one of my best games ever against Ottawa, and then going to Montreal in a hostile environment that you can barely hear yourself, hear even the play calls. Is just so different mentally, and then all of a sudden, boom, you break your leg. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what your future holds. I mean, for the first couple of days, I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, I'm like, am I going to be able to even make it back from this? Right. So I think just in totality, it's just so many emotions, even, winning, seeing it. I think I was definitely upset that I couldn't be a part of it, right? You couldn't be on the stage, couldn't be in the locker room. Thankful I've won one already, but the emotions that you have after the game when you win with your boys, I wasn't able to really share that moment, but at least at the rally, it brings you back and you're like, man, this is so cool. And, you still get to celebrate with the boys. So I think just being around, missing the locker room and the culture is really, the hardest part that has been for me.
Chad, I was watching the game live when it took place, and I really thought it was a powerful moment when Ryan Dinwiddie, your head coach, came over. Do you remember that moment at all? Like he was emotional, and I felt like there was that connection there. I'm like, these guys are not losing the Grey Cup.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had a good feeling that once we beat BC, the couple weeks before, I don't know what week it was, I think later in the season, there was a moment then where we kind of figured, hey, we got a really good team. Now we just have to put everything together. So then you saw, then we kept on elevating, kept on having a really good game against Montreal and then Ottawa. And we knew we were going to get everybody's best shot, but we really felt like we really had the team, offense, defense, special teams. And, we had a players only meeting that we said we need to start playing complementary football, right? And what did that mean? Offense gravitates off of defense, special teams, same exact thing, right? We just had to put a full game together of all the guys. And I think it showed once we got to, Montreal. Offense wasn't really doing good, right? Defense ended up getting a pick six. Then special teams ended up, getting a touchdown. So there was like, okay, now we're starting to feed off each other. Okay, and then offense came back and we scored another touchdown. Next thing you know, we're leading at halftime. So, that range of events was so up and down. And then obviously, going in to drive on in that third quarter, it's 2nd and 9. We're up 8. Okay, if I slide, we're going up 11. If I go and get the first, maybe we put the game away by going up, 16 points or 15 points, But, I have to be a little bit more of a manager instead of trying to go for the first down. And obviously, freak things happen, but something like that happened. So I think RD knew, what type of player I am. Obviously, he's been around me, but he knew that, I'm going to get that first. It's playoff football. He knew what happened. I think right when he saw. And I think it's just a testament of who RD is. We put in a lot of time and work with each other. I love his family. He loves, my lady and my family. And I just think that, it's just a sign of respect. He knows how hard I work and vice versa.
As a team, Chad, the Argos, by all accounts, have developed a winning culture, something the
Yep.
Maple Leafs are currently in the process of trying to do. What's the biggest thing within that locker room that gets you to that point?
I think just the players that are in it, we don't just put in 4 or 5 hours that's required. We put in, 8 hours. There's guys that are going outside to different places to recover. Guys are putting in extra work in the film room, on the field, in the weight room, whatever it is. And I think that's where it starts. Starts with hard work, right? None of us are entitled. A lot of us have rings already, but we're not satisfied. We're not complacent. But that's the culture. That's the coaching staff. That's the support staff. That's everybody in this building, that we're always striving to do better, and that's the way it has to be. That's the mentality you have to be, and we're not trying to just win. We want to be the best ever.
Chad, the Leafs haven't won a cup since 1967. You've now won 2 championships in the last 3 years. What's it like to win in Toronto? Not very few can have that answer for us.
Yeah, it's just one of the greatest things ever, I think, to be able to go to certain places and people recognize you, and, see, Argos gear around, and just see people, excited and ecstatic that, they're watching, you know, great football, and great teams win. I mean, that's what fans want. Fans want to be a part of winners. And, I think the Leafs are going to have their chance coming up really soon. I think they just got to put it together in the playoffs. It's a long season in hockey. It's a long season in football. For us, it's either one game and you're done, right? Versus hockey, you get 7 in the playoffs, right? So I think it's just about, not peaking too early, and it's about peaking at the end, which, you saw us the past 2 cups. We peaked at the end because we started winning a lot more at the end. So I think it's about that, but also staying focused, man. Toronto is a city you can get lost in the sauce really quick, and I think just thankfully that you have a culture that has seen a winning football you know team before, and what it takes, what guys have to do. And we kind of set a standard when it gets down to crunch time. Like, nothing else matters, guys. Nothing, like, you're not going out to eat with your family. I'm sorry. You're not going out and hanging out in the streets or with whoever it is. You have to be committed, solely focused on football, and that's what it takes.
Most people know that your uncle is one of the Buffalo Bills greats, Jim Kelly. Obviously, people would think that would be a benefit to have that, person so close to you. But I imagine there's some downsides too. What are some of the pros and cons of having a legendary football player like that in your family?
Man, the pros is amazing. Obviously, I think I've been able to, reach a lot of fantastic players, bounce off, great ideas, being able to just, speak to what it takes to become some of the best, right? Obviously, he knows, the best of the best, and being able to be in the room with, a guy like a Thurman Thomas or a Dan Marino, and being able to just, talk normal, and you're not starstruck. You're starstruck in a way of, this guy's a superhero. But I think it's just being able to be like, man, I want to be like these guys. What does it take? What is the attitude that they have on and off the field? And I think it's just, the pros of that, and being able to be in rooms that sometimes not normal people can't. It's a blessing for sure. And to see, how my uncle has changed a lot of people's lives on and off the field is an amazing feeling, which that's kind of why I wanted to follow, in his footsteps. But the cons, I feel like, I was talking to my manager, and I was just saying, I think the biggest hindrance that I've had is just, from a very young age, 9 years old, you'd think that I already had the biggest contract in NFL for sports history, right? Because that's just the following that came with being, a Hall of Famer, nephew. And, rest in peace, Hunter, my Uncle Jim's son that passed away when he was 8, and he was going to be the next up, right? So, I think just having just a family full of football players. I had another uncle that played in the NFL as a linebacker, and I think we just came up with the mentality that we're not going to lose. We're going to beat everything in front of us, and that's really been one of the biggest pros, is just the mentality of what it means to be a quarterback, and and a future professional football player.
Well, Chad, this was awesome, man. We wish you a speedy recovery. Congratulations. Can't wait to see you back on the field next year, man.
Perfect. Thank you guys for having me.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.